Hey everybody. So I am making this little intro video to Breaking the Establishment for New York District 21 because I want you all to understand why we're here. So there has been a lot of back and forth on various different groups, mainly indivisible groups to be fair for me anyways, about the upcoming congressional primary. And I should say that the conversations really shouldn't be occurring at the level that I'm seeing it, which is basically those of us that are hoping that the primary is successful for both candidates, meaning both candidates have a fair chance, that both candidates are being exposed equally. We are kind of integrating into these groups and we're talking about the primaries. Do I feel like that is the most appropriate space? No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Because when we have county chairs, so we have 15 counties in our district, and we have a chair that sits for each one of those counties. And in these meetings, those chairs make decisions about, campaigns. They talk about the candidates. They even discuss events that they might be doing or fundraising efforts. And in these conversations, obviously, they are talking strategy. And what we're talking about right now is what I view, and many others who have tried to integrate themselves into their county committees, is established Democrats. And we keep hearing that word. Bernie's doing a lot of speaking out. He's created a fight club to fight against the established Dems. And the reason why is because I've spoken about this before. When MAGA started to evolve really quickly, when we went from like Republican Party and the Dem Party being not horribly different outwardly years ago, okay, well, there was a time when really maybe it was just about policy and it was less about human rights, violence, all of the things that really are upsetting to most of us, taking away health care, taking away our education systems, taking away immigrants, all of these things that are extremely sensitive to most of us that care about people. When that started to happen, the Republicans really started to go way right, okay? Way right. And when they started to go way right, it turned into MAGA, right? And so there's been a little touch also of this other Christian type thing that I still haven't really figured out. I have a lot of Christian friends. I have a lot of people who are religious. Just because I'm not particularly religious doesn't mean that I don't believe in something. This is not about my belief or disbelief in religion. However, we've seen this overarching issue of virtue of this is my religious belief, therefore it is the most correct, and it's going to fall into this political umbrella to justify the things that I believe in. Even if it does hurt people, these are the things I believe in because this is my religion. So we're seeing that tied into MAGA. And as that happened, our Democrats stayed here. They stayed here because out of fear that we were going to miss out on all of this central voting. And meanwhile, more and more people became, I would say, dare say, progressive. And so all of this voting potential to the left starts to get left out because our established Dems stay right in the middle. And because a lot of our chairs are established Dems who are fearful of really actually, instead of having your back turned to all of these voters, they're facing this way. They're facing this way. They're worried about this voting population because that's how it used to be, right? When the Republicans and Dems were here, they would face each other and try to appeal to each other to kind of tip the scale. But now what they're doing is they're using fear to guide their strategy, and it's just not working. And on top of it, they're fighting with us. They're fighting with other Democrats, and they're basically making themselves seem very important. And right now, the reason why they're making that seemingly so painful is because they're outwardly saying that Blake Gendabine is the only candidate who has a chance to win. They all spit out all kinds of numbers, statistics. They'll talk about primaries in the past and why it's been divisive. So far, The only reason why I've seen it be divisive or getting that way is because whenever any of us come out publicly and say, this is why we prefer Dylan Hewitt as the candidate, and this is why we're going to vote for Dylan, we're met with like, you're an idiot. And not from the Republicans. We're met with that from our own chairs. We're talked down to. We're basically told that we don't know what we're talking about. I myself have been extremely involved on a community level, and I have tried to learn more and more on a political local level of how things work. Okay, I am no expert. When I don't know something, I ask, and I will say that the Clinton County Chair, Brandy Lloyd, has been a source of not just encouragement, but she's just extremely knowledgeable and open and willing to talk, and also dead set against endorsing a candidate ahead of a primary. Her, Martha Devaney, who is the chair for Saratoga County, Teresa Heery, who is I'm going to butcher the county name, Schoharie, I think is what it's called. She was extremely supportive of trying to offer some support to me when I reached out for venue space. And that's it. Okay. So we've got 3 or 4 chairs that are supportive. The other 11 want to support Blake, and not just support him, endorse him ahead of a primary. That is probably the least democratic thing that I've ever heard of, and it's mind-boggling to me. So breaking the establishment here with you guys is about identifying some very active individuals, progressive individuals, Democrats that are sick of the Democratic Party and the way that they've existed. But we still want people to vote. We still want people to be active. But we want people to come here from all 15 counties, okay? We need representation from all 15 counties. If you know someone who lives in this district in a different county, please include them. Now's the time that we all work together to kind of break through this, get involved, show up to your county meetings, email your county chairs. We need to start asking questions. They all are aware of Dylan. They're claiming that he needs to ask them for help in order for them to help him. And I think that's absolute bullshit. So, this is my whole thing. We, the collective unit of the people that I know care about this, came forward and basically presented, we want meet and greets on every level, on every county for both candidates, so that we look like we're supporting both candidates, so that people will still vote blue, no matter if the candidate they prefer is not the person who wins the primary. So it's vote blue no matter who, okay? But the way that the chairs are talking down to people when they're expressing their opinion and their choice and their preference really upsets me, because the other option of what they're doing is they're turning their back on all of the Dems, all the progressives, all of the younger voters, all of our younger people. And they're basically sticking their middle finger up saying, you don't know what you're talking about. And then those people will not vote. They just won't. And then they'll turn around and they'll blame it on the people who wanted the primary, when really it was them. So I'm encouraging all of you to help me out. I want you to invite anyone in this district that has a say in where this Democratic Party is going. I don't care if you love Blake. I don't care if you love Dylan. The point is primaries are there for a reason. Our chairs need to wake up. They need to turn around. They need to face the people that are voting for them, not to the right. All right? We need to evolve, and we need to start getting new blood in here. Thanks, guys.